Welcome to Kids Quest. I'm Roger Robot. In 30 seconds, we'll begin to learn all about salt and what it means to be salt of the earth. So sit down, strap into your chairs, and get ready to zoom over to see what's up with our friends from Freedom Lane. Ready? Here we go. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Pump it, rock it, groove it, move it, make it, shake it, never lose it, fix it, fake it, never break it, pump it, pipe it, devastate it, drum it, snare it, blast it, kick it, want some rock it, never lick it, push it, screw it, shake it, squeeze it, do it, dare it, wanna lick it. Wanna lick it. Snare it, blast it, kick it, want some rock it, never lick it, push it, screw it, shake it, squeeze it, do it, dare it, wanna lick it. Pump it, rock it, move it, make it, shake it, never lose it, fix it, fake it, never break it, pump it, pipe it, devastate it, drum it, snare it, blast it, kick it, want some rock it, never lick it, push it, screw it, shake it, squeeze it, do it, dare it, wanna lick it, move it, make it, shake it, never lose it, fix it, fake it, never break it. groove it, move it, make it, shake it, never lose it, fix it, fake it, never break it, pump it, pipe it, devastate it, drum it, snare it, blast it, kick it, want some rock it, never lick it, push it, screw it, shake it, squeeze it, do it, dare it, wanna lick it. Wanna lick it. Snare it, blast it, kick it, want some rock it, never lick it, push it, screw it, shake it, squeeze it, do it, dare it, wanna lick it. Pump it, rock it, move it, make it, shake it, never lose it, fix it, fake it, never break it, pump it, pipe it, devastate it, drum it, snare it, blast it, kick it, want some rock it, never lick it, push it, screw it, shake it, squeeze it, do it, dare it, wanna lick it, pump it, rock it, move it, make it, shake it, never lose it, fix it, fake it, never break it, pump it, pipe it, devastate it, drum it, snare it, blast it, kick it, want some rock it, never lick it, push it, screw it, shake it, squeeze it, do it, dare it, wanna lick it. Devastated, drum it, snare it, blast it, kick it, want some rock it, never lick it, push it, screw it, shake it.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
My report is all about the system development life cycle. The system development life cycle, or SDLC, is a series of 6 steps that a project team works through in order to conceptualize, analyze, design, construct, and implement a new information technology system. Adhering to SDLC increases efficiently and accuracy and reduce the risk of product failures. Brainstorming idea is one of the first steps in project development.
Planning. In the planning phase of the system development life cycle, you create a solid plan for developing your information system. The following are the 3 primary activities you perform during planning phase. 1. Define the system to be developed. You must define and select the system for development or determine which system is required to support the strategic goals of your organization. Organization typically track all the proposed systems and prioritize them based on business impact or critical success factor. A critical success factor is a factor of critical to your organization's success. This allows the business to strategically decide which system to build. Set the project scope. You must define the project scope and create a project scope document for your system develop effort. The project scope clearly defines the high-level system requirements. Scope is often referred to as the 10,000-foot view of the system, or the most basic definition of the system. Setting the project scope is important for many reasons. Most important, it helps avoid scope creep and feature creep. Scope creep occurs when the scope of the project increases beyond its original intentions. Feature creep occurs when developers add extra features that were not part of the initial requirements. A project scope document is a written definition of the project scope and is usually no longer than a paragraph. Develop the project plan. You must develop a detailed project plan for your entire system development effort. Phase 2. Analysis. Once your organization has decided which system to develop, you can move into the analysis phase. The analysis phase of the system development lifecycle involves end users and IT specialists working together to gather, understand, and document the business requirement for the proposed system. The following are the two primary activities you perform during the analysis phase. Gathering the business requirements. Business requirements are the detailed set of employee requests that the system must meet to be successful. The business requirements drive the entire system. During a joint application development, session users and IT specialists meet, sometimes for several days, to define and review the business requirements for the system. Prioritize the requirements. Once you define all the business requirements, you prioritize them in order of the business importance and place them in a formal, comprehensive documents. The requirements definition document. Sign off is the user actual signatures indicate they approve all the business requirements.
About the design of phases number 2. What is design? A design phases is the architectural basis of system design. The flow of data processing is developed into charts, and the project team determines the most logical design and structure for data flow and storage.
The following are the primary activities you perform during the design phase. Number 1. Design the technical architecture. The technical architecture defines the hardware, software, and telecommunication equipment required to run the system. Most systems run on a computer network with each employee having a workstation and the application software running on a server. Number 2. Design the system model. Modeling is the activity of drawing a graphical representation of a design. You model everything you build, including screens, reports, software and databases, with ER diagrams as we described in Extended Learning Module C. There are many different types of modeling activities you perform during the design phases. Phase number 4, development. During the development phase of the system development life cycle, you take all your detailed design documents from design phase and transform them into an actual system. This phase marks the point at which you go from physical design to physical implementation. The following are the two main activities you'll perform during the development phase. Number 1, build the technical architecture. For you to build your system, you must first build the platform on which the system is going to operate. Number 2, build the database and programs. Once the technical architecture is built, you initiate and complete the creation of supporting database and writing the software required for the system. Phase 5, testing. The testing phase of the system's development life cycle verifies that the system works and meets all the business requirements defined in the analysis phase. Testing is critical. The following are the primary activities you perform during the testing phase. Number 1, write the test conditions. You must have detailed test conditions to perform an exhaustive test. Test conditions are the detailed steps the system must perform along with the expected result of each step. The tester will execute each test condition and compare the expected result with the actual result and verify that the system functions correctly. Each time the actual result is different from the expected result, a bug is generated and the system goes back to development for a bug fix. Number 2, perform the testing of the system. You must perform many different types of tests when you begin testing your new system. A few of the more common tests include unit testing. Test individual units or pieces of code for a system. System testing verifies that the units or pieces of code written for a system function correctly when integrated into the total system. Integration testing verifies that the separate system can work together. User acceptance testing, UAT, determines if the system satisfies the business requirements and enables users to perform their jobs correctly. Phase 6, implementation. During the implementation phase of the system development life cycle, you distribute the system to all users and they begin using the system to perform their everyday jobs. The following are the two primary activities you perform during the implementation phase. Number 1, write detailed user documentation. When you install the system, you must also provide employees with user documentation that highlights how to use the system. Number 2, provide training for the system user. You must also provide training for the user who are going to use the new system. You can provide several different types of training, and two of the most popular are online training and workshop training. Online training runs over the internet or off a CD or DVD. Employees perform the training at any time on their own computers at their own place. Workshop training is held in a classroom and you had 4 implementation methods you can choose from. Number 1, parallel implementation. Uses both the old and new system until you're sure that the new system performs correctly. Number 2, flash implementation. Discards the old system completely and immediately uses the new system. Number 3, pilot implementation. has only a small group of people using the new system until you know it works correctly, and then the remaining people are added to the system. Number 4. Phase implementation. Install the new system in phases. Example, accounts receivable, then accounts payable, until you're sure it works correctly, and then the remaining phase of the new system are implemented. Phase 7, maintenance. Maintaining the system is the final phase of any system development effort. During the maintenance phase of the system development life cycle, you monitor and support the new system to ensure it continues to meet the business goals. The following are the two primary activities you'll perform during the maintenance phase. Number 1. Build a help desk to support the system users. One of the best ways to support users is to create a help desk. A help desk is a group of people who respond to users' questions. Number 2. Provide an environment to support system changes. As changes arise in the business environment, you must react to those changes by assessing their impact on the system.
Good day. Today we're going to discuss the waterfall methodology.
Waterfall methodology is a sequential, activity-based process in which one phase in the SDLC is followed by another. From planning through implementation, the waterfall methodology is one of the oldest software development methodologies and has been around for over 30 years. The success rate for the software development projects pursuing this approach is only about 1 in 10. The first phase in the waterfall model is the planning. In this phase, the project team and other major stakeholders define the project scope, create the schedule, and prepare for the next phase. Design phase. In this phase, the requirements are analyzed in order to design the product architecture. Development. In this phase, the system is developed according to its design, features, environment. Testing procedures are coded and prepared for the next phase. Testing. In this phase, the product is tested by the development team, quality assurance staff, and final user. Implementation. In this phase, problem discovered during the previous phase must be resolved. The system is transferred to the production environment. Maintenance. In this phase, the system is monitored to be sure it works as described in the requirements and for possible improvements during in the process reviews.
Today, I am going to discuss the disadvantages and advantages of outsourcing.
Making the decision to outsource may be critical one way or the other to your organization's success. Thus far in our discussion of outsourcing, we've alluded to some advantages and disadvantages of outsourcing. Following is a summary of the major advantages and disadvantages of outsourcing the systems development process in order to help you make the important outsourcing decision. These are the advantages of outsourcing. Your organization may benefit from outsourcing because outsourcing allows you to focus on unique core competencies. By outsourcing systems development efforts that support non-critical business functions, your organization can focus on developing systems that support important and unique core competencies. Next is, outsourcing can exploit the intellect of another organization. Outsourcing allows your organization to obtain intellectual capital by purchasing it from another organization. Sometimes you won't be able to find individuals to develop a system, but the outsourcing is the one who will find those individuals with the expertise you need to develop and implement your system. Outsourcing can also predict future costs. When you outsource a function, whether systems, development, or some other business functions, you will know the exact cost. Outsourcing can acquire leading-edge technology. Outsourcing allows your organization to acquire leading-edge technology without having to acquire technical expertise and bear the inherent risk of choosing the wrong technology. Outsourcing can also reduce cost. Outsourcing is often seen as a money saver for organizations. Reducing cost is one of the important reasons organizations outsource. Last is, outsourcing can improve performance accountability. Outsourcing involves delegating work to another organization at a specified level of service. Your organization can use the specified level of service to guarantee that it gets exactly what it wants from the vendor. And these are the disadvantages of outsourcing. Outsourcing may not be a beneficial option for you because it can reduce technical know-how for future innovation. Outsourcing is a way of exploiting the intellect of another organization, so it can also mean that your organization will no longer possess that expertise internally. If you outsource because you don't have the necessary technical expertise today, you'll probably have to outsource for the same reason tomorrow. Next is, outsourcing reduces degree of control. Outsourcing means giving up control. No matter what you choose to outsource, you are in some way giving up control over that function. Next is, outsourcing increases the vulnerability of your strategic information. Outsourcing systems development involves telling another organization what information you use and how you use that information. In doing so, you could be giving away strategic information and secrets. Last is, outsourcing increases dependency on other organizations. As soon as you start outsourcing, you begin to depend on other organizations to perform many of your business functions.
귀요미 초코머핀 조각 시켜놓고 고소한 우유 한 잔을 기다려요. 오빠하고 나하고 꼭 마주 앉아서 서로 손바닥 위에 예쁜 낙서를 하죠. 한눈 팔지마 누가 뭐래도 내꺼 다른 여자랑 말도 섞지마 난 니꺼 새끼손가락 걸고 꼭 약속해줘요. 절대 나 혼자 내버려두지 않기로. 1더기는 귀요미 2더기는 귀요미 3더기 3은 귀요미 귀요미 4더기 4도 귀요미 5더기 5도 귀요미 6더기 6은 귀요미 난 귀요미.
You have two primary choices as to who will build your IT systems. Here, we are not talking about personal productivity software you can buy to a local computer store, but a large software package that may cost millions of dollars. First is the insourcing, which involves IT specialists within your organization to develop the system. And second is the outsourcing, which is the delegation of specific work to a third party for a specified time and specified cost and a specified level of service. By the way, my report is all about outsourcing. So what is outsourcing? The oldest form of outsourcing is specialized machinery. The cotton and woolen mills that defined the start of industrial revolution were self-contained entities. Over time, people discovered that they could sell equipment to mills by designing and making cheaper and better equipment. You may argue that this is not outsourcing, but it meets the criteria. An outside party provides a product or service to meet the buyer's specification, and the buyer is motivated because the seller is offering specialized expertise and lower price.
Outsourcing. It is a contracting of business process to a third party. Means two organizations may enter into a contractual agreement involving an exchange of services and payments. The best example of manufacturing company outsourcing would be Dell, buying some of its computers, buying of its some computer components from another manufacturer in order to save production costs. Outsourcing can offer greater budget flexibility and control Outsourcing can offer greater budget flexibility and control. Outsourcing lets organizations pay for only the services they need when they need them. It also reduces the need to hire and transfer specialized staff and reduces capital and operating expenses. There are main reasons behind rapid growth of outsourcing in industry. First is the globalization. As markets open worldwide, competition heats up. Companies may engage outsourcing service providers to deliver international services. The number two is the internet. Barriers to entry, such as lack of capital, are dramatically reduced in the world of e-business. New competitors enter the market daily. Number three is the growing economy. Building a competitive workforce is much harder and more expensive. Number four is technology. Technology is advancing at such an accelerated rate that companies often lack the resources, workforce, or expertise to keep up. Number five is the deregulation. As private industries such as telecommunication and energy deregulate, market often in competition increases. IT outsourcing today represents a significant opportunity for your organization to capitalize on the intellectual resources of other organizations by having them take over and perform certain business functions in which they have more expertise than the users in your company. Outsourcing involves telling another organization what you want. What you want is essentially the logical requirements for a proposed system. A request for proposal or RFP is a formal document that describes in detail your logical requirements for a proposed system and invites outsourcing organization to submit bids for its development. Your RFP will become the foundation for the legal and binding contract into which your organization and the vendor will enter. By the way, there are three types of outsourcing. Number one is the onshore outsourcing, which is the process of engaging another company in the same country for services. Number two is the nearshore, which is the contracting and outsourcing arrangement with a company in a nearby country. And the last is the offshore, which is the contracting with a company that is geographically far away. That's all. Thank you.
BPO. BPO stands for Business Process Outsourcing. So the best example of this is in the customer care sales marketing force that's very present and prominent here in the Philippines. We have the call center agency, and the best example of it is the Convergys, Accentures, Sykes, and the likes of it. So the offices or the business that they cater were actually located physically not in the Philippines but in the America, in the USA, in the foreign countries. So what they do in here is, I mean to say that here goes the business process outsourcing. So the company, instead of hiring agents that would be handling calls, customers, requests, or queries, they'd be hiring it here in the Philippines where there is a lower salary cost and expenditures as compared in America. So in such cases, BPO saves money, space, and responsibility, because they need not to worry anymore about the proceedings, because they will outsource the process outside the company, and in this case we call it a call center agency, and therefore it implies that BPO is really a process and not a company. I therefore repeat that it is not a company but a process that is being outsourced outside the company. And the process that we're talking about is the customer care, sales, and marketing is outsourced outside the company. So that's it. This is a prototype. We don't have the knowledge. Before we do the proposal, we must first have the prototype to convince them that this is what we need. These are the requirements for us to have a full-forced implementation of systems. So when we are prototyping, we're trying to explore what are the things that we need. This is the prototyping process. There are 4 steps involved in prototyping. First, identifying the basic requirements. So when we do prototyping process, we first identify the basic requirements. So what are the basic requirements? These are the knowledge requirements, the software requirements, the system requirements, and the hardware requirements. And next, we have developed initial prototype. Okay, so this is just a user interface. We designed the entire system. What are the data entries, methods, the data manipulation, the context, flow, and everything. Prototyping, this is the user review, wherein we tend to evaluate the developed or the initially developed prototype. So we first determine what are the bugs, what are the errors, what are the things that needed to be fixed, what are the additional components or features that we must include for it to work well or function well. After the user review, we now revise and enhance the prototype because we already determined what are the things that we need to fix. Now it's time for it to do it in action or to put everything into work. We revise it, we change, we update, we edit, we remove what is not needed anymore, and then we add what needs to be added, and we finally have the product of our prototype. The use of XP or extreme programming in the industry. So we take Microsoft Corporation, who developed Internet Explorer, and Netscape Communication Corporation developed Communicator. So in Microsoft Corporation, they are the ones who practiced the use of extreme programming. In this case, they developed the first ever released Internet Explorer that is capable of limited tasks of searching and browsing over the widest area network of that era. And then, where would this extreme programming exist? Or, I mean, where can we observe this case? Simply because, have you ever observed that when you use, or whenever you use Internet Explorer and such errors happen, there's just always this pop-up message that is important. Do you want to send error to the Microsoft so they would acknowledge it and they would do something about it? So that's just a part of the iterations wherein the users, the end users itself, will try to evaluate the system by encountering bugs and errors, because there's just this couple of errors that systems analysts or quality assurance measures of the Microsoft corporations did not anticipate it. And then it's also a user participation form, because all of the reviews will be coming from the users based on their experience of these bugs. And then after determining what the error is, Microsoft Corporation on their part would be dealing with it. What's the problem? So that's the time, because the user already did identify the problem, and they would be solving it by doing the same process by iteration. So the next time they'd be releasing a Internet Explorer, it's just Internet Explorer 9.0, 9.1, and so on and so forth. How extreme programming improves a software project. So there are 5 essential ways: communication, simplicity, feedback, respect, and courage. So we'll be dealing first with the communication. Example, extreme programmers constantly communicate. That's the keyword there, communicate with their customers and fellow programmers. Why? Simply because there is a need for constant communication, because your work is relative to the works of the others. There must be a consistency in between pieces or components of the system. So it's a distinct way of determining that you're still on the right track, because your system or your component that you're working with is in line with everybody's work. And then we also have simplicity. They keep their design simple and clean. So that's the keyword there, simple design, and it's clean. And then we go to feedback. They get feedback by testing their software. They deliver the system to the customers as early as possible and implement changes as suggested. So it's just like the example that I've given earlier about the Microsoft corporations. I need not to discuss this anymore. But what it says in here is that most of the error reports would be coming from the system users who would be using the entire controls that was implemented.
This is International Big Mega Radio Smasher.
I had the time of my life, and I never felt this way before, and I swear this is true, and I owe it all to you.
Will you count me in? I've been awake for a while now. You got me feeling like a child now. 'Cause every time I see your bubbly face,